breaking down why that's happening and what to do instead.
Welcome to the Modern Insurance Agent Podcast.
We're your hosts, David and Al Denning.
What happens when a millennial couple dives headfirst into the insurance world, scales $1 million remote business, and decides to share the journey with the world?
You get the Modern Insurance Agent.
Here, we reveal the messy, magical, and sometimes hilarious realities of building a business and a life you love.
From traveling the globe to building remote teams, yes, even working remotely on top of a mountain in the Philippines, we're sharing insights, strategies, and plenty of laughs to help agents and entrepreneurs succeed.
Because, let's face it, success isn't just about hitting numbers.
It's about designing a life that works for you.
So let's dive in and build something extraordinary together.
So last week we talked about what kind of content to use, reels, stories, posts, oh my, and when to use them.
And today we're going deeper on how social media actually works, because posting once and praying is not a strategy.
But first, where can agents get all the show notes and all the goodies that we have for Mel?
Yes, so for all of the marketing goodies that we have and show notes, head on over to jumpstartgonow.com/podcast. We've even put together a free marketing guide for you so that you can get started with your own organic lead generation. And also, don't forget to check out the past episodes on YouTube, as well as your favorite streaming platforms like Spotify, Apple, and more.
And drop us a review if you really love us. That would be great. So today we're going to break down the actual systems behind the scenes, right? Like, why does it work the way it does and what to do? It's not just putting up pretty content, right? So we'll talk about how content gets pushed, what role each piece plays in the process, and how to build a strategy that compounds over time. Is one of my favorite things about social is that it has like a snowball effect, which I don't really know what snow is. We live down here in Florida, but I hear if you roll it, it gets bigger and bigger. And so the whole idea being, yes, you can get more and more results for even less and less effort over time because it grows and scales, which sounds like a good use of time to me on things that get easier as I go, right?
Absolutely. All right, David. So let's start with the big question, because the algorithm seems like this magical place where things go and social media content just somehow magically goes viral without any rhyme or reason, or the algorithm hates me and is out to get me. So, how does the algorithm even work to begin with?
Wait, it's not magic? Oh, man, dang it. All this time, I thought it was just this magic. You just kind of got lucky, right? No, just kidding. We're going to talk about that it is a system. It is almost a science, right? And that's why it works for some that know how to use it, and doesn't really work in a lot of wasted time for those that don't. So stay tuned, and that's why we're going to dive in on how you can get the best use out of your time and even spend less time, right? So the goal of every social platform is the same at the end of the day. I know you've heard me explain this a lot, and anybody who's been around us probably have heard me explain it a few times, right? It's to keep users on whatever the application is, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, really any platform, is to keep users there. Why? Because they make money through showing ads. All these platforms are monetized, not for us paying. Facebook's free for us to hop on, but they earn money off of people paying for ads. So this is why it's designed the way to work. Designed to work the way it does is to maximize that revenue. I'm not going to go down the whole path of explaining because I got a pretty nice explanation to go through. But at the end of the day, things get promoted because it helps Facebook make money, and things get shown to less people or limited on their reach, meaning how many people see anything I do, if it's costing Facebook money, as in driving people off the platform, for example, like using links and posts, right? And so pay attention to why we explain some of the strategies. But if you've heard me talk before, we know it breaks down to why it works the way it does. And if I could go change it, wave my wand, I would, but I can't. So I'm just going to tell you what works instead, right? So your content gets tested. If people watch or engage, it gets shown to more people. If not, it dies.
And the reality is that people don't come to social media to learn about insurance products. So really understanding that social media at the end of the day, it's a form of distraction. People log in to be entertained. And this is a key piece to understanding organic and having success with organic strategies is thinking about what is entertaining to people, what's interesting to people, and really building your content strategy with that in mind. We actually call it the engagement meter when we're explaining this to clients, that you really want to have this balance of creating engaging content. And one of the easiest ways to get started with this is just showing behind the scenes of your life, your interests, your hobbies, really showing up as a person, because that's what people come to social media for. And it's very human nature for us to just be interested in other people and their lives. Even if you don't feel like you're very interesting, your everyday life is relatable. And starting to post there is a great way to start. So just thinking about documenting your day, your cup of coffee, dropping your kids off to school, those types of things, what you did over the weekend, and really thinking about what's engaging. And so that is such a big piece of it. And then also understanding that, the platforms are all competing. So, like with the rise of TikTok, short form video has really become so much more important than it used to in the past. Attention spans are getting shorter and shorter. So, really understanding what pulls people in that first 3 seconds of content and holding their attention throughout the video is so key. Facebook and Instagram specifically are doing more with Reels, and YouTube as well, with their shorts to compete with platforms like TikTok. So part of the algorithm is just also understanding what the platforms are prioritizing and what they want, and ultimately leaning into that at the end of the day.
I love that. And just because you may not be into certain things doesn't mean that those on the platforms aren't. Meaning, I'll have agents come to me like, well, I don't really care what people had for breakfast or what up to or what they're doing. I was like, that's great, but everybody on there that's spending time in there does, right? So you don't have to love the platform to use it and use it successfully for business, but it does require sharing a bit on you and trust, and also generating engagement as a part of it. So I'm using it as a tool, guys. I don't have to like every tool I use. Like, I don't like the shovel, but I got to shovel things, right? It works, it gets the job done, and we're going to show you how this is an amazing tool. I don't like the phone sometimes picking up and calling people, right? But it's a tool and I use it to grow my business. So this is one of the most powerful tools in history on social media side. So it's, how do I use this tool? And honestly, you can have fun while doing it. So we'll show you, also how to have fun. But that's important. They're there for puppies, politics, engagement. And this is where we get connected. And then, yes, we absolutely cover who we are, what we do as part of these things that leads to us growing the business also. So short form video, one of the best ways to get seen, get known, get connected, and it gives the best reach potential, meaning best, the highest amount of people being able to see you, what you do, and get connected through these videos, right? So especially when it comes getting in front of new people, which is what Reels excel at, as people who've never seen you or discovered you, being like, what is this person up to? I kind of like that, or kind of like them, or I want to hear more about what they're talking about. So stop blaming the algorithm, guys, just being like, well, I don't know how this thing works, or it just hates me, or, Facebook is against me because of whatever political beliefs I have, or because I like cats, not dogs, or Apple versus Android. Guys, stop it. Like, let's learn the algorithm and use it to our advantage versus just being like, it's just out to get me, right? Internal locus control versus external. Go look that up in your psych books, right? So we want to start creating content that gives it a reason to work for you as far as the algorithm, right? Focus on watch time, engagement, consistency, as those are key metrics we want to pay attention to.
Absolutely.
So with that, every piece of content has a purpose, and I need to know what that is before I post it, right? The spray and pray method, on any sort of thing, marketing for your business is not a very good method, right? Kind of like the spray and pray, like going and throwing your business card on a bunch of urinals in the men's bathroom or gas tanks and being like, well, someone will call me, right? If I do enough of something, maybe I'll get something, is not the best marketing to take. So same thing with social. Don't just throw posts and be like, hey, hopefully it works. Let's have a purpose behind it. So let's talk strategy. Not every post is meant to sell. I know, as much as you guys would like, just be like, buy insurance from me on all of your posts.
Why can't it be that easy? I just put buy insurance from me on social media, and then people reach out to me to buy insurance.
If only.
Why
right?
doesn't it work like that?
I know, if only, right? And like, I know when you guys go on social, every time you see someone posting something, buy this, come work for this MLM, come work for me, you guys click on all of them and you go buy from all of them and you work with all of them, right? No, you don't, right? You get annoyed by it, right? Same thing here, right? I'm not pitchy because no one's going to pay any attention. That's not what they go to social media for. It's as sexy as insurance is, let's be honest. People aren't going on social media to learn about insurance for their fun time, right? And so that's why we got to play to how the algorithm works so we can get the results that we want.
And we definitely don't want to be that agent where we walk into the room and people are like, oh my gosh, there she is. Scatter. We don't want her to talk to us about insurance.
Run, it's insurance. Get out of here. She's going to try to corner you.
So the reality is that there's actually 3 different types of content to be thinking about. And the first is awareness, the second is nurture, and the third is conversion. Most people only post when they're trying to get leads. This is what we're talking about, and this is where people go wrong.
Right. And so awareness content is what gets people to discover you, right? Like, people don't like to buy from people they've never even heard of, never seen, especially when it comes down to the most important things: your life, your family, your finances, your health, your most prized possessions. Yeah, those are kind of important, right? So reels, story shares, funny or viral stuff, right? And this is where people discover you, right? And maybe you connecting with them as a friend on Facebook, and now they've connected with you off this or from a group, right? Nurture content deepens the relationship. This is the know, like, trust, and this person knows what they're talking about or saying something interesting. Nurture is where I get to build this up, right? And this is where most people are in this stage, right? When they find you, connected with you, they're in this nurture stage up until a conversion stage, right? For some people, this may be immediate. For some people, this may be years, right? And this is once again why it's a pipeline, and I get to nurture people, but I get to do it in multiple at a time versus one at a time, which is one of the cool things about social, is the one-to-many tool, right? And so this is behind the scenes storytelling, tips, education, and then conversion content is where you finally ask for the sale or takes the next step. And this is where I pull the people that are ready out of that nurture step into working with me.
And I would also say with that conversion step, you're usually off of social media, not even asking directly for a consult, a call, no, like DM me for a quote or call my office. That typically doesn't work very well unless you have some positioning around it that's like humorous, which can be a great strategy to use. So one of the strategies that we actually work with our clients on is called a conversation starter. I actually worked with some clients just this afternoon on this particular topic. And you really want to think about this type of content like a candy bowl on like the front desk of like an office, where it's like people would come up and they would like grab the piece of candy, and the receptionist would be like, oh, is there anything else that I can help you with today? And it opens up the door for that conversation because you happen to be right there as they're reaching out for that little tasty morsel that they're interested in, that they want. And that's what a really solid social media strategy does. It has all of these components of awareness and nurture, and it's that little irresistible sweet treat that people want to reach out to and ask for more from you.
I love that. And it can also be fun or even silly a little bit. I mean, if you got your pet turtle, you put a little headset on them and you say, Shelly's working today and wants you to give her a call. See what I did there, Shelly? Anyways, went over people's heads.
Please,
but
somebody have a pet turtle.
Please, someone do that. And people will be like, well, I'll give them a call today, right? And whether it's pets or I had an amazing client who works with us, continues to work with us, Christy, who when she had her baby daughter, Dove, was like, Dove would love if you give us a call today, right? And Dove is a social star, and people would give her calls off social, and it was fun, funny, lighthearted way of being like, oh, I do need to give them a call and have a quote done or have my policy checked. And that's exactly what led into that too. So there's lots of ways to do it. I love the value driven way Elle's mentioned, or even fun ways like I've mentioned also, right? So there's reasons that we do these types of content, right? So rotate your content types weekly. So an example of 2 awareness posts, 2 nurture posts, 1 conversion, right? It's a mix of these, and what the least amount is the conversion one. You're not doing conversion, a little bit of nurture. So usually a little bit the opposite, right? So kind of reaping and sowing. I'm not a farmer, so one of those things means planting things, and one of those things means pulling the things up when they're grown. Someone tell me what means what in the comments, please, or ever when they watch this. But at the same time, it's the same thing here. I'm planting my audience and nurturing and helping them grow, and then I'm capturing the ones that are fully grown, ready to work with me.
Yeah. And let's be honest, most agents are doing what we call random acts of content.
Which not exactly random acts of kindness, right?
It's not the same.
No, not the same, right? Like cool things can come out of random acts of kindness. Random acts of posting and content, not exactly. So yeah, one day they'll post a quote, and then they won't post anything for a week. Radio silent. Is this agent even alive? And then they'll post just sold a policy bragging posts or ever, and it's chaotic / just most of the time they're not even there. Or worse, all their posts are like, come work, come buy for me, come buy for me, come buy for me, which no one goes to social to see that. That's a unfollow, don't pay attention, block, or ever off that.
Absolutely. And the problem with that is that there's absolutely no system and there's no buildup of trust, familiarity, or a story. Also, it's very frustrating for agents. This is where I see a lot of times when agents are like, well, I'm posting on social, but it's not working for me. It's because there's really no system that you've developed around that posting strategy. So even if maybe one post has like a pop or you get something from it, you don't really know what actually worked behind that.
Yeah, and that's frustrating being like, well, every once in a while it works, but I have no clue.
Yeah.
What we want is repeatable, consistent processes, right? You can't scale a company or an agency off of just randomly something works, doesn't work, right? That's not going to work. So you want something consistent, repeatable, and that's what we're trying to show you social can be if I know how to put that in place. So we always say this with the Closers Click, which is a program that we work with a lot of insurance agencies in, showing them how to build and scale these things. We'd say posting is a system. You're stacking pieces of a puzzle, or maybe that's Jenga, whatever things you stack, right? Pieces of puzzle, right? Every post should move someone closer to knowing you, trusting you, and wanting to work with you.
Yeah. And a tip that can help with this as far as creating a system is to plan your content in batches, keeping in mind that awareness, nurture, and conversion. There's this idea in marketing about funnels, and that as people move through the funnel, you start really, really wide, and then it starts narrowing down just like a funnel that you're pouring, water through. Marketing works exactly the same way. And as you get narrow and narrower,
Nailed it. That's a word.
You're getting closer to that conversion or having the conversation or your sale. So your content really should be able to nurture people and move them closer and closer to that that conversion, which is typically either reaching out to you or having a conversation with you off of social media. And you want to be strategic about that.
Love that. And I know we got some either health nuts in here or some busy agents, right? So think about it kind of like meal prepping your food for the week, right? If I'm meal prepping, I've planned it out. I have a reason, what I'm putting together hits my macros if I'm, paying attention to that. But I've got it all done at a time, so I'm more efficient with it. But I've batched it, and it's part of an overall strategy for the week versus I'm hungry. Let me just randomly pull something out of the fridge right now, right? Takes more work, more time, and you don't get the same results as if you planned out and batched it. So I think that's a good metaphor. I don't know.
Yeah, I
So,
think absolutely. It's
yeah.
a great metaphor.
And someone was asking, what would be nurture content? What are some examples of nurture content? Oh,
Yeah, so stories are great, especially if you're showcasing like your story of how you got into the industry. I love things like the first client that I was able to help, sharing your own client stories of people that you're actively helping. All of that is really great nurture content. So usually there's something that's going to be maybe a little bit more interesting or engaging that ultimately like piques people's curiosity on that awareness level. But your nurture content is really where you're starting to add value, educate, and position yourself as an authority. It's in that nurture process that people are ultimately deciding if they want to work with you or not.
education can be a good piece of that, but keeping it light and simple with education, some like especially hooky of why should I even listen to what you're educating me on? And obviously, these insurance products can do amazing things to help protect them, their loved ones, their wealth, families, retirement, all these kind of things, right? So, what's the hook? Why they would ultimately get these things in the first place of what helps them achieve, right? So hook, and then a little bit of education, right? Am I going to sit there and explain an IUL for an hour and all the ins and outs of it? No, not, absolutely not. People are not going to sit on social and watch that. But I am going to do a little bit of education that helps build trust, authority, behind the scenes, me at the office, who I'm helping, me putting the cat, with headphones on in front of the desk of like, oh, Meowsies is working hard today, right? And so, all these things are kind of this nurture you, your personality, who you are, trust, authority that leads to the conversions when I move to the conversion stage, right? So with that, posting alone though is not enough, right? We've talked about the content, why it's important, but you've got to engage. So if you're like, okay, I just do a post each day, or I do some posts, that stuff comes rolling through, right? People connect with me, I have conversations. No, I've got to engage with what I do.
Absolutely. So let's talk about what happens after you post, because content is not a one-way street. I think about this all the time. If you could just shift your perspective on social media, basically just being a big group of people, like a networking event, and if you were just posting content, it would be like me walking up to somebody in the setting of a networking event and like walking up to them being like, "Hey, I'm Elle. I help seniors with Medicare. Goodbye," and me turning around. I probably shouldn't do that, but me turning my back to David and just walking away and not asking him who he is, what he does, or building a relationship with him in any way.
We always say social media is not a billboard, guys. And so this is not just, oh, there's a lot of people here, so let me just post what I do constantly and come by for me. And someone will see that billboard or see my post and be like, oh, yeah, I just happened at this moment in time be looking to connect with someone for insurance, right? Once in a blue moon, but once again, not the most efficient use of time. If people are sitting there on the highway in traffic, and so this, the billboard, if I'm going up and knocking on their window and we're chatting and I'm giving them some water and, oh man, it's a hot day and I'm connecting, cool. I'm having conversations, connecting, getting actual results out of this versus a billboard that no one's going to hit the number on the billboard anyways, right? Because they'll crash their car, right? So don't call numbers on billboards while driving. So with that, moving back into the engagement portion, right? Is you can't just drop content and dip. If you want to build relationships, you've got to engage. And that's what social media is for. It's literally built to connect, to engage, to have conversations, which is where I get into appointments and sales and amazing things, is from the conversations. I can either go out and find people, or I can dial until someone happens to talk to me, or I can go right. It's already built to have these conversations and just get there easier and with a lot of people at once.
Yeah, people really don't realize that they can drive massive results and visibility just by going to where their audience is spending time online, like going to them in commenting and engaging on their content. So I highly recommend that if you don't already have this, you should at least have a power list of 20 people that you want to build a connection with. It could be the mayor of your city. We've had clients that have done that before, or a real estate agent that's really prominent in town, or some other local business owners, or maybe it's a person that would be a really ideal client for you. You should have a list of people with specific names like that. And you can use social media to connect with them in a way that you increase your visibility and you get in front of them for your content to show up on their feed is going and interacting on their content. So you can actually go to their profile, you can comment on content that they've recently posted, and it's even better if they start commenting back. When the algorithm sees this happening, then your content's going to be way more likely to show up in their feed way more regularly. You're going to be able to stay top of mind with them when you're commenting and you're engaging with people on the platform. And then you want to also make sure that you're sending direct messages as well. This is another signal to the platform that you want to be connected with a particular person. It does not have to be about insurance. Your comments don't have to be about insurance. Your messages don't have to be about insurance. All Facebook or any social platform is looking at is there engagement and commenting and activity happening between these two people? And when it is, then that's where that visibility really starts to increase.
I love it. And so spend 10 to 15 minutes each day commenting, responding to DMs, starting new conversations, which is now as they reply back, I'm in a conversation with them. It's prospecting. It's just modern way of doing that. 'Cause think about this, guys. If I had a power list and I had an ideal client, someone I dreamed of having as a client, or a referral partner that I knew could send me a ton of business, right? And I knew where they went and spent 2.5 hours each day. If I knew that location they hung out, whether it's a barbershop, they like to play pool, I'd probably go hang out there a little bit and connect. And, hey, looking for someone to play a game with? Cool. Let me hop on the table. Let's play. Let's start chatting. Golf course. Hey, you need an extra for their fourth? Hey, let's pop in. I'm in the golf group with the person I want to talk to, right? The average person spends 2.5 hours a day on social media. I can go there. I can connect there. I can have conversations, not even about insurance. And I can talk to this dream client, this dream referral partner, this CEO of a company, this mayor of a city, literally through social media. It's not even that hard, guys. Like, it's built to be social. Whereas like on LinkedIn, are they responding to their own messages? Do they even log in there more than once a week, once a month, right? But on social, they're there 2.5 hours. I can go get right in conversation. It's like a cheat code that people wish it used to exist, that you used to belong to a country club to get in and talk to these people. But now I can do it right on social.
You said something very interesting there. You said LinkedIn, and I don't think quite lumped LinkedIn into a social platform.
What?
I don't think you lumped LinkedIn into a social platform.
It is.
Think about it differently.
It's a social platform, but it's different, right? Like, people treat it different. Like, people log in for fun, entertainment, spending hours a day on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, even YouTube, for sure, YouTube. But LinkedIn isn't like, cool, I got some downtime. Let me go have some fun on LinkedIn. I mean, maybe you, but I don't know.
Isn't like a distraction platform. Like, people aren't logging in to engage and be entertained.
Good platform, but different method, right? So with that, I'm engaging on the platform. I'm doing that along with my posting so I can actually have these connections and conversations and get this also engagement. So Facebook pushes my content, all these things that are important to the strategy. But also the other things that agents miss is feedback. You're getting data every time you post. You just need to look at it, and it's important.
So important. And agents, this is just in general, people get so discouraged if a piece flops, if it doesn't work out. But all good marketers write bad content. They put out bad posts. That's just like that's part of actually being a good marketer is not being afraid to put out bad content or maybe being afraid of it and doing it anyway and learning from it. So when you do and you are able to create more content and you have this feedback loop, you're actually able to learn what works faster by also learning what doesn't work. So when you do find something that hits, then you really want to double down on that style, that topic, and that's how you really build momentum. So do not be afraid to put out bad content. Actually, the more bad content that you put out, and the more you get that out of the way of being bad, the faster you do it. It's like ripping the Band-Aid off so that you can put in the reps and learn the skills faster and get like through the uncomfortable part even faster.
Like in baseball, don't be afraid to swing and miss the ball. The more you're swinging, the more you're learning from those swings, the more you hit the ball, make contact, hit home runs, right? But if I never swing, I'm definitely never hitting a home run. So, and consistency doesn't mean posting daily forever. It means showing up regularly so your audience expects you and the platform rewards you.
Absolutely. And that's one of the big wins of our clients is that they really learn the system and build a system that runs without having to wing it. And also in a much more like time effective way as well. So a lot of the strategies that we teach are with that in mind, that we know that agents don't want to spend all of their time creating content and marketing. So we're always on our side. That's our job to make sure that we are testing and teaching the most time effective strategies possible so that agents can get results from social media as quickly as possible.
I love it. So, for an example, like you could review your top 5 posts every week or every month. If you have your profile in professional mode, which there's not really a downside to that, you actually get the data easier, and you can see, oh, these posts performed the best and got the most engagement. What was in common? What worked? What can I repeat again? What does my audience like? Cool. Let me do some more of that as well, right? What didn't work? Cool. Let me maybe transition. What did I learn from that? Use that data to shape the next week, the next month. I continuously get better versus just try the same things and hope it's different, which doesn't work, right? So, truth bomb, social media isn't magic. Sorry to burst anybody's bubble that hopped onto your day, but hey, that actually means I can have control over the results even better, right? It's a system. So, one you can build and control.
And when you treat social media like a system instead of a slot machine, that means you get consistent compounding results and that snowball effect that really builds and gives you so much leverage in your business.
And that's what we do inside the Closers Click. We build real systems with real support so agents don't just post, they profit.
So thanks for hanging out with us today, everybody. And don't forget to check out last week's episode if you missed it. And share this one with an agent who's maybe stuck in a content grind. Pass this along to them and build some accountability. Like if you are committed to learning social media, accountability and consistency are absolutely key. Find that buddy, share this with them, and be committed to creating content in a system that works together.
You can do it. And make sure, like we said, to grab the show notes, marketing cheat sheet downloads. Yes, we do have those for you. And all the goodies at jumpstartgonow.com/podcast. We have them all put together for you guys. So thank you for tuning in to the Modern Insurance Agent Podcast. Go post something today, and you've got everything you already need.